Hello and welcome to the new moon forecast. And we have a very interesting and different kind of a new moon coming up this Monday and Tuesday. So I'm going to break that all down in this live stream and why it's so important to know what's going on energetically at the exact moment of the new moon, why that's important. So I'll explain that all in a minute. If you're watching this as a video, I'm going to timestamp when we actually begin because I like to let the live people get a moment or two to get their notifications. And on another note, I'm in my office. The Wi-Fi signal here is not always great. So if I cut out or if there's glitches, I apologize in advance. But let me say a few quick hellos, then we're going to dive right on into this. It says there's only 5 people on. Okay, well, one love. Hi, Roseanne. Hello, Mr. Floyd. Hello, Josh, Millie. Oh, we're up to 10. Hello, Yvonne and Angela and Let's Spirit Guide. That would be Laura. And that's it. So anyway, and hello, Melissa. Welcome, welcome. Welcome all, welcome all. So understanding that this is the Friday of Memorial Day weekend. Most of you are going to be watching this as a video, I'm pretty sure. But if anybody's free tonight and they're here, that's great. And it's been a lot of crazy energy. So what I do for these forecasts is that I have some of the astrological, numerological aspects that are important, 5 things that we need to know, and then we have divination cards and recommended spiritual practices for this energy. A lunar cycle, excuse me, lunar cycle is, my voice changed, is about 29 to 30 days. So every time we have a new moon, it's a new cycle. So it's always a new beginning on the new moon. So we're coming to that right now. We're in the end of the last lunar cycle. There was a super new moon, and a lot of very crazy things have happened. So it's going to get crazy in a different way. I don't think it's a bad thing. There's a lot of positive energy to tap into during this next time, but it's important to really stay on top of things. And one of the things that's important to know is that there's a lot of really strong mercurial energy, very changeable, very high voltage energy. So we're really going to come into that. And again, I'm going to explain that all in a few minutes. So right now my Wi-Fi is great, so it can go either way here in my office, but I'm glad that it's really good right now and everything. All right, we've been on for 3 minutes. Like I said, today is Friday of a long weekend, and it's also 8 o'clock. Not going to get a ton of live people. No worries about that. So I've got everything on my notes. Let us dive in. So Laura's saying, let Spirit Guide saying that already feel the very strong positive energy. Yeah, it is very strong, very positive, and very uplifting. So let's get into some of the details here. Let me get some more water. So the full moon here on the East Coast is going to be on the 26th, which is Monday, Memorial Day, 11:02 p.m. But Greenwich Mean Time, it's actually on the 27th. So when we figure out some of the numerological qualities, we take Greenwich Mean Time because that's sort of a standard around the world. But that basically means that numerologically, it's a 5 universal day. 5 is very Mercury. 5 is Mercury guided numerology. So this is very heavy duty Mercury energy. It's in the sign of Gemini. It's at 6 degrees Gemini. So it's more of a Venus vibe than a Mercury vibe. But it is in the sign of Gemini. And Mercury goes into the sign of Gemini a mere hours before the new moon. So that's another little Mercury kick that's going, because I know you guys probably all know this, but if not, Mercury rules the sign of Gemini. And there's a lot of other planets, Sun, the Moon, Mercury, I think Venus, or is Venus still in Taurus? Anyway, Thank the universe in advance for the strong Wi-Fi signal. Good advice. Yes. Hello, Suzette. Hello, beautiful family. So let me read what's in my notes. 526. So the 26th, which is Monday, that's actually a 22 universal day, which is the master builder. And all new moons are new beginnings. It's all good for manifestation. So that's part of the quality here. But again, Greenwich Mean Time, it's the 27th. That's a 5 universal day. 6 degrees of Gemini, very important. Lots of favorable energy. Energies of this new moon changes the fabric of collective consciousness. So the moment of the new moon, because it's a new beginning, a new cycle, that moment is basically the template that the energies of the lunar cycle build on. So if you wanted to get like a personal take on it, because this is more of like a universal forecast that I'm doing, if you know your own chart, what you want to do is do a composite of the exact moment of the new moon and see where the moon and the other planets line up in your own chart, what houses they line up in, what aspects they have with your natal chart and stuff like that. Energy changes the fabric of collective consciousness, so it's a good time for healing the collective, working through challenges, etc. Because Mercury is a very healing energy also. It's about communication, about change, about travel, about the intellect and the mind. So that's very, very much a strong resonance with that. Mercury goes into Gemini, conjunct Mercury. So Mercury is going to be in a, by the time the new moon hits, it's a weak conjunction, but it's still in a conjunction with the sun and the moon. Every new moon is a sun moon conjunction, by the way. Um, and also, it's going to be trining Neptune, conjuncting Mercury, leading up to the event. But what's really important here is it's trining Pluto. Pluto's currently at 3 degrees of Aquarius in retrograde motion. The new moon's going to be in 6 degrees of Gemini. So Pluto is kind of that underworld energy. It's transmutation. It's alchemy, like changing lead into gold. So it's very, very transformative. And to have that trining is a favorable alignment to the energy of this full moon. It's also very air, also. So it's really hitting the intellect, the higher mind, higher reasoning, spiritual mind, spirit mind. So a lot of good high level spiritual energies come in. Lots going on with the sky because it's air and with Pluto and Aquarius. So look for another uptick in solar flare activity, and as well as sky anomalies and stuff like that. So anyway, conjunct Mercury is awesome. So very Aquarian, spiritual, enhances awakening, transmutation, alchemy. Good energy for those doing their soul ascension work. So those of us that are doing our spiritual work, we're going to get huge blessings. The energy is so strong. For those that aren't doing, if your energy fields are stagnant, it may be uncomfortable. So the suggestion is to really start to double down on allowing the energy to be fluid in your body and your auric fields. And basically what that means is that you want to work through the shadow integration, whatever energies are stuck in your energy fields, which are usually things you can't let go of, or traumas or karmic things, or things that are held on to from this and other lifetimes. So you want to work on presence. You want to work on the flow and clearing that vessel to receive your upgrades. This is a perfect new moon, a lunar cycle for huge spiritual upgrades now. So I'm very excited about it, actually. Big uptick in spiritual awakenings. So we'll see that in the world around us. Awakening higher intuitive gifts. So we'll see that within ourselves. And this kick of higher energy, of spiritual energy. And Uranus is also aspected in Neptune. All the outer planets are aspecting each other. Although Uranus is still in Taurus, so it's a little bit behind, but it's still there. And strong energy of air. Air affects the sky, energizes the earth. So we may see more in the way of earthquakes, volcanoes, things like that. And I just did another psychic forecast video this morning. Well, actually, it uploaded at 12:12 about things that are going on off the Pacific Northwest, to Western Canada and Alaska, particularly the Cascadia Fault and the underground volcano that's not too far from the fault line and other things. So you can check that out later. Alrighty then. So let's get into the 5 things that we need to know. Right. See, you guys are having a nice conversation. Yes, Chris, check out Chris's singing bowls on his channel. That'll be very calming. So the first thing that we need to know, the first quality of this new moon that's beginning, in a couple of days, is rise up. So that's the first thing to know. The energies provide a lift, gives you a bird's eye view of what's going on in your reality, in your universe. Oh, thank you so much, Suzette, for the super sticker. Maybe it's a good energy for receiving donations, but thank you so much. It also brings up conflicts through. Wait, hold on. Let me back up a second. It can bring up conflicting thoughts or actions. And that's kind of the Gemini energy. It's duality. It's like the good twin, the evil twin, right? The split personality and all that stuff. So the energy is really good for its air. So it's rising up. It's giving you a higher vantage point of seeing your life reality as well as the world around you. So it's good to steer clear of the programming, not to let the news and all these external factors get in the way, and to trust your intuition. And you can even do meditation where you feel your assemblage point where you view from. Maybe it's your heart rising up over your body, basically. So what else? Conflicting thoughts or actions, but it's 6 degrees, which is very Venus energy. It's very, it's very much about love, about security, about finance, those kind of things. It tends to, it's the 6 degrees, it tends to focus on the more balanced aspects of Gemini rather than the crazy aspects. So rather than all this duality energy, that 6 tends to be more of a unifying energy, and it emphasizes more the healing aspects of the sign Gemini, basically. So this boost of energy is like a breath of fresh air. So this is a very, like I said, it's a different feeling than a lot of the lunar cycles that we've had that have been very heavy hitters. This is heavy in its own way, but there's a lightness to it, a levity to it, basically. And you may feel like a lot gets cleared. Let the winds just blow all the stagnant energy off you. It's very air, very wind related. So it's like a fresh air that will help inspire you to dig deeper into your spiritual work and expand to reach a higher level of your soul's evolution. So it's time to rise up, right? So you can see more standing up for themselves. There's a lot of an evolution / revolutionary energy. So we see a lot of people more standing up for their rights and their beliefs, which can lead to more demonstrations, more blockades. That's what popped into my mind. When we may see blockades, almost like what the truckers were doing a while back in Canada, to get their message across, basically. Global stage. On the global stage, we see new information becomes available. More begin to see just how deep the corruption is. So that's all rising up, basically. Also, watch the skies. This lunar cycle should activate and increases in sky anomalies, as well as UFO contacts, things like that. You may connect more with your own guide. Very conducive energy for spirit communication because it's Gemini. Air communicates over distances, right? So, and it connects through the mind. So when I do mediumship or channeling, it's like a telepathic exercise where the spirit is telepathically activating me as well as energetically and intuitively and emotionally as well. So anyway, right along page 2. To listen to the wind, let it blow negativity off, clears, cleanses, clears. And this leads to point number 2. Hello, CM. Hello, M Spree. Things are ramping up. 2 earthquakes in Australia. Pop balloon. Oh, did the balloons go up again? Nice. New law: trucker to the United States must speak English. Yeah, I think I heard that. But anyway, so leading to number two, a time to heal. So I when this came through, I immediately thought of the Birds, the band the Birds, Byrds. There's actually another band called the Birds, spelled Birds, but they're not as well known as Roger McGuinn and David Crosby and company in that band. Uh, but the song "Turn, Turn, Turn," one of the lines is "The time to kill, a time to heal." um, so energetically, we've been killing the old, basically. We've been in this heavy shadow aspect. There's been a lot laid on us through politics, through energetic programming, through the media, and a lot of heaviness has been lifting from us. So we've been killing the old. Now it's the time to heal. So focus a lot on your own personal healing, as well as maybe developing your own healing abilities. Energetically, we've been killing the old, killing the illusion, and now this is our time to heal. Though still a highly energetic and changeable vibe, number five is very, very changeable energy. It's also the energy of freedom, and I'll get to that in a second. With number five, the planet Mercury and the sign Gemini, all that Mercury energy. And there's a couple of other things in Gemini too. Though still a highly energetic and changeable vibe, there's an energetic settling down available to us so we may catch our breath. Focus can be more on healing the damage rather than being in fight or flight mode, which we've been as a collective. So collectively, we've been in fight or flight mode, and that's why a lot of people are anxious, or one of the reasons that a lot of people aren't sleeping well and just fearing the worst or whatever. So at this time, we can kind of step out of that as a collective and be more in the vibration of grounding, like healing, healing, and not being in fight or flight. So rather than being in our heart, and when we're in our heart, we're in our power, and you're getting again a bird's eye view of our own survival instincts. So we're able to observe our intrinsic programming from a different perspective, which is going to help us to integrate the shadows and to clear whatever seeds are within us that creates repetitive, cyclical challenges in our lives, whether it's how we respond to things, how we behave, that creates more or less the same thing over and over again. And this energy, this new moon, which activates the intellect but also activates the spirit, allows us more ability to kind of step outside of ourselves and see our own programming in action. So we get exercises whenever you react to something. Step outside and observe your reactions, just like Joe Dispenza tells us and other teachers. And that way you're observing the program. You're no longer the program when you step outside and observe it. So what else? Those still focus me rather mean. Time to work on your personal healing. Slow down. It can get very busy and ungrounded with all this Gemini Mercury energy. So it's a good energy to slow down. And sometimes we have to slow down and just relax and reconnect with the flow. Get very present, feel energies working through you, do some self-healing, maybe get a healing for a trusted energy healer or Reiki healer. Well, Reiki healer is an energy healer, but you know what I mean, right? So that's number two. The third thing to know about this new moon, if it's new, it's for you. Now, all the new moons are new beginnings, right? It's a new cycle that's beginning. But because it's Gemini and there's a lot of Mercury energy, that's about change. So there's a lot of change happening, therefore, a lot of new beginnings. Five sometimes is almost taken as a similar vibration as one in numerology, because one is the beginning of the cycle, but five is the change, which kind of adjusts the current cycle, 1 to 9 cycle, in a new direction, basically. So it's kind of a new direction based on some of the new things that you may be thinking, feeling, or wanting to do, or that's just been happening, basically. So energies want to bring, so season of change, 5, universal day. Pluto, Venus, Mercury are all aspected into this. Pluto, again, is very evolutionary. Venus is very, very much connected to things like love and beauty and art and money and security. And Mercury is, again, change and freedom. So it's a good time. The energy wants you to try new things that you never tried before. Maybe a new teacher, a new YouTube channel. Although don't cheat on me. No, just kidding. No two timing allowed. No, just teasing. But Mercury energy, very strong in Gemini. Now, also Mercury is going to be at 1 degree of Gemini, right around that point on the new moon. One is the new beginning also. So that's another reason why, if it's new, it's for you. And that's Mercury, which is the ruling sign of Gemini, where the moon is. So Mercury carries extra weight. So you look at Mercury as a major player when you're analyzing your own chart in terms of what new beginnings or how these things might apply to you personally, what areas of your life these may apply to. So other than that, all new moons are new beginnings. Manifestation energies become very high with this mercurial energy. So it's a good time. What is your dream? And remember what Jesus said in the book of Mark, that if you ask for something in prayer, feel like you already have it and it shall be yours. Funny, I think I heard law of attraction teachers say the same thing. And Native American teachers, it's a universal teaching. In other words, basically. Um, so always, when you do manifestation work, you feel like it's already real. And you take that a step further. You thank the creator for the new beginning, your dream manifested, your heart's desire manifested. If it's already real, and feel it, own it, know it, and do it. And through the power of repetition, you change your energetic field that aligns with the energies outside of yourself. And over time, it manifests. It has to be. That's the law. It's the law of attraction, or the law of there's another name for, anyway, I can't think of it now. All right. Um, Manifestation energy is very high. So if it's new, it's for you. So the fourth thing to know about this new moon is friends are important. Gemini is a very social sign. It's a mutable sign. Some consider the most social of all the signs. So friendships, forming proper alliances, is part of the energy this new moon. So you want to discern what friends are not aligned with you anymore. Either they're counter to your energies or the direction you're moving in, or they're not evolving as much as you or the direction you are. So it's time to cut off friendships. It's time to really find that proverbial tribe now, especially because the changes in the world, if they continue the way they are going, we're going to need the supportive community, especially if we tend to go semi off grid or start sustainable communities while the earth changes are happening. That's a distinct possibility, especially as we get towards 2027 and beyond. Very distinct possibilities, unless we can shift the timeline before then. What basically means is that that society, in its new evolution of technology, AI, interfacing, whatever, is going to go through a lot of growing pains, and a lot of people are not going to want any part of that because it takes us off of our path rather than enhances our path. So it also poses a certain threat to humanity, basically. So the idea is now's a good time to think about things like that, not in a fear-based way, but just have a plan. It's all going to be good. It's all part of the ascension. It's all positive. It's all from God, spirit, or source. Nothing to fear, but it can be inconvenient. We may have to give up things that we've been used to for a long time, and the ego or conscious mind hates change. Those are the subconscious. It's a survival instinct, but our spiritual mind can override that, basically. So that's the good news. What else? Friends are important. A social vibe, planning community to off-grid, handling global changes, find your tribe, and friendships that aren't, I think I said all of this. I don't need my notes, do I? That aren't of the highest good. People who are two-faced are revealed as this energy, because after all, Gemini is about duality. So those that are two-faced, that have hidden agendas, that aren't really on your side, and I'm just hearing what is it? Worf from Star Trek saying, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. That's like warriorship, right? But friends are important. So honor your friendships, cultivate, nurture your friendships, make new friendships. And if they're not aligned with who you are, even if this is family, Spirit is saying, think about maybe making changes. We all have, all of our individual situations are different. So I can't say as a blanket message, you got to end unprogressive friendships, because there's subtleties that I may not understand. So use your discernment. Keep in mind, Gemini is very intelligent energy, very intellectual. It's very much of the mind. So it's very much a mind enhancing and inducing new moon and lunar cycle. That's going to help with things like peace talks, with things like negotiating, with things like getting a handle on the politics, and figuring out who the bad guys are and who the bad guys are, and all that stuff. So this is all good. Where are we? Four. So number 5, the fifth thing to know about this new moon is freedom calls. So this is really the time to claim your freedom. The number 5 in numerology is about freedom. Now, I've said this before on live streams. I see we've gone up about 20 people recently. So when we end, check out the beginning, what you missed for those that came in. So the call of freedom is going to be very, very strong. Now, like I said, I've said this before, so I am repetitive on YouTube, because there's certain points that I always try to drive home. This is that humanity has not been free. We talk about free will, and in theory and in essence, it's absolutely true. But if you look at the last several thousands of years of history, rich people, you might think, well, the rich were free. No, they were slave to their riches. They were slave to their positions in society. The poor people were just slaves. The indigenous people, sooner or later, they would get conquered and captured and enslaved. So we are part of a collective, and our subconscious vibrates in that collective. And the subconscious does not like change, because it believes that something that's different is harder to survive. So that's why people hate change, by the way. That's why we naturally resist change. It is a threat to our survival. It registers in our primitive survival instinct. And that transcends just this lifetime. It's part of our collective consciousness. So when you come into your new body and you're a soul, basically that soul overlays its resonance on the new body, which basically means that's what karma is. It's experiences in other lifetimes. So the long and the short of it is, though we may love the idea of free will and freedom, most people subconsciously choose the opposite. And that's why you find a lot of people wind up in the same restrictive, abusive relationship time and time again, or the same job that restricts their freedom, or the situation in their life that restricts their freedom. It's just that it's a karmic shadow aspect that they have not worked through yet. So they subconsciously choose bondage. But now, because this lifetime is the first lifetime that we really had free will of choice, and then most people are choosing the opposite, this new moon is really enhancing that vibe. So what you want to do is get more into your heart, get more into your spirit, more into your energy. And that's where true freedom is, because when you do that, you become free of the program. You become free of the limitations of your own subconscious mind and your own karmic history. If you're like me, I've been burned alive. I've been hung. I've been, for wanting to be free and being spiritual, basically. So I think we get the idea. So what else? The call to freedom, Mercury and Gemini, very mercurial energy, very much about freedom. All you do to create personal freedom will get a boost in this new moon. So if your job is restrictive and sucks, find another job. And I know a lot of you will be thinking, well, that's easier said than done. I mean, I need money or whatever. But if you honor your soul, your spirit, if you honor your freedom, you open up the vibration to be more attracted to money. And you'll be surprised. I mean, for some people, yeah, there may be a period of financial difficulty, but it might be worth it. Ultimately, money is a source of freedom, right? So financial freedom brings us freedom in this lifetime. So how many people subconsciously choose to be poor and don't even realize it, right? Or choose to be servants, slaves to their employer, slaves to the system, going to work to make just enough money to have a place to live, to have food on your table, so you can go back to the same job and make the same people more wealthy while you are stuck in the same loop, basically. So when you open your heart, when you connect with the energy of freedom, money is freedom. You are more attracted to money because that's a physical thing that we need in this physical lifetime, in this physical society, to have more freedom in our lives. So does that make sense? Do we get that? Yeah, I was thinking, MDR, I was thinking of that. That's Tommy. I love Tommy. To me, that was the best and probably the last great Who album. Well, actually, Quadrophenia was pretty great too, and the others that followed were very good. Don't get me wrong, but those were the last great Who album. I'm free, right? My Roger Daltrey voice. So all you do to get some boost, reprogramming. We are not karmically free, so work on reprogramming, shadow integration. We've got plenty of material here on the Medium channel. Affirmations, repetitive, sleep programs, reprogram that mind to what you want. It's a given that we're all going to be programmed. That's just how the mind works. That's how the subconscious mind works. There are good programs, then there's not so good programs. And the programs from society are designed to hijack the emotions so that we have an emotional reaction to what we see or feel and behave in very predictable ways. That's what programming is. And people think that was their own free will to react to this president or this candidate or whatever, and they don't realize that their emotions were just triggered by something, and it's a survival emotion, whether it's anger or fear, whatever it is, and the reaction is the response to those hormones raging in the body. Basically, that's what programming does. So you learn to, when that happens, you learn to step outside that and observe that, right? So programming, we are not karmically free. Gemini is of the mind, ideal for subconscious reprogramming. Engage the heart, because the heart is what activates the mind. The heart's stronger, but they're connected. So do your heart brain coherence as well. And that might be one of the exercises that I didn't write down, but that is every month, right? Heart brain coherence. We have a playlist on the channel or something that does the same thing. All heart brain coherences. It's a way of enhancing the vibration of the heart through holding frequencies of gratitude, which is the master frequency. And the reason that is because when we feel grateful, it's because we received something amazing, but spirit, God, or source is the ultimate giver. So gratitude is the master frequency because we connect with the master through gratitude. I received something amazing, right? So that makes sense, right? So anyhow, so the practice of heart brain coherence, you get very present. When I do, I get so present. I'm not my name, I'm not a body, I'm energy, I'm frequency. And when you get that, and you get that level of presence, then you vibrate more in the quantum field rather than in your physical life. And when you get there, that's when you feel grateful just for the now, or what, anything you're grateful for. And hold that in compassion in your heart for 10 minutes, 11 minutes at a time, 3 times a day. And it's amazing practice. It's going to change your life. And if you're able to connect the heart and the brain, so if you're able to expand the heart frequency, it becomes a lot easier to reprogram your mind because the heart's stronger than the brain. And again, the sign Gemini's of the mind and the intellect. So this is a good time. Again, the new moon is Monday here on the East Coast at 11 something a.m. I have it written down, p.m. I'm sorry. And in Europe, it's the following day. It's Tuesday, and of course, points west is Monday. So this would be a really, really good time to work on a very solid subconscious reprogramming. And 3 things that are really helpful are affirmations, where you really feel it and vibrate it, sleep programming, and also mental rehearsal. So, it's like rehearsing the same thing in your mind over and over again. Then you create new pathways in the mind. So this is kind of like the divine triad of subconscious reprogramming. So it's a given we're going to be programmed. So let's program ourselves, right? And we have the ideal energy in this lunar cycle to do that. So other than that, energy is good for writing. It's Gemini, it's intellect, it's also automatic writing, channeling, mediumship. Develop or practice these skills. This is a very conducive new moon for that. Get messages about your own life and trust what you get. And again, if you open your heart and you feel your heart and your brain blend, then visualize like your heart is bright, it's your heart's glowing, your brain, your body's glowing, then visualize an even greater light around you. Let the light of your heart blend with that light. And then that's sitting in the power. That's the Tony Stockwell meditation, enhanced with heart brain coherence. That's my own addition. But once you become one with that greater light, then you're one with spirit or source. So then you can do voice channeling or automatic writing or mediumship or whatever. So or just meditating, just getting downloads and sitting with that. But the energies are going to be very conducive for getting messages from higher sources, and I'm doing that. They're vibrating on my head, so they're kind of, my guides are working with me. Work on your manifestation skills, right? Because it's a good manifestation time also. Because and the other thing about that is, we're here in this matrix, this Maya, this illusion. We have jobs to do, and this is Dolores Cannon says this a lot also. We are here to master energy. That's why we came to Earth. We agree to forget who we truly are, and then we have to come through human body. We have to be in the womb. We have to be infants, toddlers. We have to go through all these steps, forgetting who we are. And part of our spiritual evolution is beginning to remember that. But we're here to master energy. We can use energy and flow to heal ourselves and others, but we can also use energy to manifest, because everything in the physical is energy also. It's just a lower frequency, and it appears solid and dense. But the table that's supposedly solid and dense right below me, hear me banging on it, right? That sounds pretty darn solid, all right. But it's 99.99999% empty space, because that's atomic structure. That's how atoms are structured. And within that 99.99999% empty space are electrons firing at 1/100th the speed of light. That is a lot of energy, my friends. So we are energetic beings. We're only 0.0000001% solid. The rest of us is energy. So it's the energy that makes it feel solid. We're energetic beings. When you start to master energy and learn how to manifest things in your life, you're doing one of the things that you're here to do, which is master energy. And there's a reason why in our physical lives, why we want to be happy, because it brings us closer to God's spirit or source. We're always seeking that reconnection to who we truly are. And when we're in a survival mode, when we're angry, frustrated, we're farther from that. But when we feel happy, when we feel fulfilled, when we feel joyful, we're closer to that vibration. So this physical matrix is set up in a very ingenious way. And so if you do law of attraction, what do? You do things that are going to make your life more happy, more joyful, more meaningful, more fulfilling. Having more money will do that. Having a beautiful soulmate relationship will do that. Living, in your ideal home by the ocean, hopefully several feet up, so the tsunamis don't get you. I'm just teasing. Will do that. So remember that the law of attraction is a spiritual exercise, and if you see it that way, and it's part of your growth, it's going to help you with that, because you're not going to have that subconscious, what's the right word? Challenge, because I can't think of the word, conflict well, that's not spiritual. Money's not spiritual. Like trying to get what you want using spiritual force, that's materialism. That's not spiritual. But once you really own that, then you dissolve that illusion and delusion. That's part of what they do to try to keep us down, in my opinion, basically. So anyway, that makes sense, guys, right? Yeah, thank you, Christine, for that. Yeah. Chip said, huh? All right, I'm missing some of your comments. Yeah, all right, some like. So anyhow, yeah, I don't know if anybody's being less than nice on the chat, but please be kind to each other if that's the case. I'm not going to go all the way back, but so that's basically that. Now I also have divination cards, so we can get some more of that. Yes, Einstein and Tesla definitely spoke of these energies, and I'm going to do a short tomorrow about the number 144. That's a very powerful spiritual number, and it's part of the 369 code because 1 plus 4 plus 4 equals 9, and it's 12 squared. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Card, yeah, I've got of course, the Starseed Oracle deck. Of course, being that we're all star seeds. 844. Yes, I didn't really give myself a ton of room to fan these cards out. Let me just clear my mind for a second and scratch my nose and clear my mind. All right. Went right to the card. That'd be this one, sorry. And what we got here is called Star Keeper. Maybe we are the keepers of the record, right? Star Keeper. So you make it your message through the imagery. There's a light above the figures in a blue aura cocoon, and then there's a gateway in the heart. Isn't that not interesting? Little portal of the heart. And the message here is cosmic ancestors. Seed the light by staying grounded. So I think Spirit, on one hand, is reminding us that with all this Gemini energy, very airy, it can get us very ungrounded. So you want to add to what I'm saying with spiritual practice, some good old-fashioned tree or rooting meditation. Make like a tree and leave. No, I'm just kidding. Don't leave, no, stay. But you can meditate and become a tree and visualize very deep roots extending from your root down through the soles of your feet, through your earth star chakra right below your feet, and fanning out in all directions, and bring those roots deep, get grounded and breathe up, excuse me, up through your roots, your body up to the top of your head and up to infinity through your branches, or just stay grounded. But I think it's a reminder to stay grounded. And let's see what else we can glean. Yeah, it's interesting because in this heart portal, there's stars also. So it's like our inner universe kind of dwells in the heart, and when our inner universes and our outer universes combine, that then we become the portal of our universe, and we become, the manifester, the teacher, the healer, and all of that good stuff. Yeah. Cosmic ancestors. And the other thing is, this may be a good time to understand more about your starseed roots, like what extraterrestrial beings were here recently. Is may come through when I do channeling publicly, but when I was doing it on my own, they're talking about things like the old people that were even before modern human, even older than 200,000 years, came to Earth. It was like a terraforming process on the planet to make the planet hospitable so it could be seeded with new life and everything. So everything on this planet came from somewhere else. And also because it all comes from the stars and the sun. So this might be a good time to really understand more of which one of the extraterrestrial beings that you're more aligned with. There's many to choose from because we have a lot of different genetics interwoven into our human genomes from other extraterrestrial and interdimensional beings, basically. So this is a good time to understand your roots, but your roots can be heavenly roots also. So when you do your tree meditation, you can visualize roots going up to the cosmos also. This card popped out also, so we have to read it. And this one says, the courageous peony. Well, we're coming to the peony season, right? That's June. Multifaceted, unique nature. Let yourself be seen. So I think they're trying to say it's okay to let yourself be seen. I know several of you have YouTube channels. Well, let yourself be seen now and drop your links so that if anybody's interested, that they can check out your YouTube channel. You can do that right on the chat here if you like. Thank you, the Tower. So speaking of the tower, watch out for July because that's a tower month. That's a 16 universal month in numerology. And 16 is the tower in the tarot. And in Chaldean numerology, the number 16 is the shattered citadel, which is the tower. That's July. Let's prepare, May and June for that. Everything's going to change. The courageous peony. So don't be afraid to show who you are. People will always try that. I'm doing it right. I'm a very sensitive, was a shy soul. Once upon a time, I was very shy, very introverted. I'm still kind of introverted, but then the end of 2019, Spirit said, you're going to start a YouTube channel. And then I said, are you crazy? I suck on camera. I've got performance anxiety, but I did it anyway. So I let my big peony shine out there to the world. And I accepted, well, didn't accept, but accept is the right word. All the pushback and criticism and all the freaking negative comments and all that crap of those that feel threatened by light because they're not ready to grow yet. So, when you shine your light, it threatens those that aren't ready to shine their light. But you know what? That's fine because they had the opportunity to get inspired by your lead. So don't be afraid to shine that light. What do I have? I think it's 27,000, 26 or 27,000 subscribers now, which is still not a big channel. It's, in YouTube terms, I'm still a fairly small channel, but that's still a lot of scrutiny. There's a lot of people scrutinizing me. You know what? Let them do it. I'm in my power. I found my voice. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And this is a message for you guys also, right? Oh, thank you, Suzanne. And you know what? I love my community. AKR is almost at 30, so I'm getting there, right? Getting there. That probably won't take too long. Your peonies didn't bloom last year. Mine did. You don't want me to show that. Oh, I'm still waiting to show. Need a helping hand. Well, yeah, so we do. We do need a helping hand. It's what I'm saying is a lot easier said than done because again, we have the programming, the feelings come up and feelings will stop us dead in our tracks. We have to learn how to breathe through that and to function even if we don't feel comfortable, which for me is really, really hard. So I imagine it is for you guys also. So anyway, let's do something else. Well, the moonology card, because this is the new moon. Let's see which card that we pull, which lunar aspect we pull on the Gemini new moon. I'm waiting for myself to one time pull the exact card for that. So are we going to pull the Gemini new moon card? I feel like they're saying no, but let's see what we do pull. We pull, well, we're not that far from new moon in Sagittarius. I mean, that's the opposition of Gemini. So the full moon's going to be in Sagittarius. The Gemini full moon will be near the end of Sagittarius. Well, 16, around 21 degrees or so. Luck is on your side. That's good. So manifestation. Luck is on your side. That's a great message. So be lucky, everybody. And Sagittarius is also a communications, travel over distances, very technology. I think it's also a reminder that we're going to get a real spike in technology. We're going to hear more about AI, different uses. And you know what? I'm seeing like communications through AI with other star systems. So I think they're going to learn. They probably already know this, but we may become more privy to AI devices that can probe and get messages from other stars, or, other beings or stuff like that. So I think, and I think they're discovering new galaxies all the time, and new planets, new stars. I think a lot is going to open up with the stars during this lunar cycle. It's been doing that already, so I think it's going to be a spike in that, to be quite honest. Yeah, right. Luck is on our side, everybody. See that? Absorb that, own that, be that. Luck is on our side. Planet not. I think so. I think they're kind of saying that Pluto's really more than one planet, and I always marvel the fact that this tiny little rock in space has such a huge energetic effect on life, because it's all about the inner, the underworld, like the forces beneath, like the void, like the forces beneath that drive everything in the outer universe, basically. And it's just a tiny, it's almost a black hole, because they were showing it being very, very small, but very dense also, basically. So it's maybe made of plutonium, right? That would make sense. Let's do the frequency of the week, of the month. I mean, frequency of the month. No, I won't do Michael Stipe doing what's the frequency, Kenneth, though I'm tempted. So, the infamous Dan Rather incident, Caught in Tune by REM. All right. There we go. This is the card that's coming in. And 34, passion. Passion's a good thing. We should have passion for what we love and what we want to do, right? This is, this card feels more like an Aries vibe, but it's still Gemini energy, right? And the frequency of passion reminds us that beneath every intense emotion lies the hidden gem of insight, balance, and calm. It assists us in finding the balance within this intensity, moving us from chaos to the calm of its core, whether we can let its long-lasting wisdom fill us up. So you can get your own information just by gazing at the center of this card for a moment and absorbing it within you and around you. So there you go, and that's passion. So let's have a lot of passion at this time. Yeah, so is Neptune in? I should know this. Neptune is in Aries now, or I think it just went into Aries, right? It's been in Pisces forever. Yeah, Neptune just went into Aries, so that's cool. And yeah, the passion. All right, so we got that. Last but not least, I bought the medicine card with me too. Scotty boy, hi Scotty boy. So let's break these up for a second. Thank you. I will share this because it's so true. Yes, so true. And within the word compassion is the word passion also. So sometimes you get hints through through diction, through word origins and stuff like that. Like inspire, right? That's a beautiful word. Inspire, in spirit, right? So when we're inspired, we're more connected to spirit. Or what's the other one? Though it gets debated sometimes because there's actually two word origins. What's the word? Not inspire. I can't think of it. It doesn't matter. In spirit. Oh, desire, right? Desire. There's two Latin origins. What's one? Desire, which is like wanting or needing, but it's also desire, like day is of and sire is the father or God or spirit. So there's desire as part of the. So the way I look at desire versus wanting and needing, when we want and need, we cut ourselves off from spirit and just want to satisfy our ego. But when we have a true desire, it's almost like our spirit or spirit urging itself to create something through you, and so manifest your desires, basically. Sorry, Mary. Maybe it's time to maybe it'll come back. Naturally. Don't force anything, obviously. All right, so This is the medicine cards. I'm seeing a squirrel. That may not be what I pick. I pulled two. Mouse. Well, mouse isn't that far from a squirrel, although it's very different meaning in a fox. So what I saw in my mind, the squirrel, that's planning, that's gathering, right? So it's a good idea to have, because the earth is so volatile and I'm getting all these hits on earthquakes and tsunamis. Sometimes I get hits on them and it takes a good while for it to manifest. So it may not happen exactly when I believe it will. That's, welcome to the world of psychic forecasting. But usually 9 out of 10 times it does happen sooner or later, and usually sooner than later. So squirrel is about gathering your nuts for the winter. So let's have supplies on hand. The more prepared we are, the more we create a vibration that reduces the chance there's going to be an emergency that we are going to need to have those supplies. So I'm fine with stocking up and then not needing it. I'm totally fine with that. So fox is very sly, right? It's about camouflage, very stealthy energy. And mouse is scrutinizing. So the thing about mouse energy is it's very empathic. It's of the south of the medicine wheel. So in the realm of innocence and trust. But the mouse doesn't see what's beyond its whiskers, what it doesn't feel. So this Gemini energy can help you to get out of any limitation of your perspective based upon your physical your physical realms, but it's also a lot of courage. So there's a legend about the mouse becoming courage and becoming an eagle. The fox is often about camouflage, being incognito in the world. Like some of the most powerful spiritual teachers are not the ones that get up in front of thousands of people. I mean, there are those like Mother Amma, right? The hugging saint. Eckhart Tolle, a few others. There are ascended masters that do that, but some of the most powerful people are just incognito in society. Yeah, you might be after a horrible day, get on a cab, and then all of a sudden the cab driver just accesses everything you're feeling and gives you the exact information that you need for something important in your life. That can be an ascended being also, but they're not like out there, right? So in a way, I'm kind of out there, right? Because I'm on YouTube, but that doesn't mean that it has to be that way. You can be a very effective teacher and a guide by being very incognito and doing your thing in society, and stuff like that. So I think one of the things is, you know, it's sometimes it's good to not let everything show to the world, in case like people underestimate me all the time on different levels. I mean, I'm a martial arts expert, not a master, but definitely, yeah, I'm good at that. Some people underestimate that, being 5'5" and 120 pounds. Um, to boot. Yeah, and then I tend to have a softer, kind of a more gentle way. But if I need to fight, psychically, verbally, mentally, I'll fight to win. Basically, I'm kind of the mini Mike Tyson in a way. Who's a total wrecking ball. I can't get enough of watching his fights. It might sound a little bit brutal, but he was total strategy, and he had the thunderous knockout punch behind him. Another one is Sugar Ray Leonard, if you like strategy, or Muhammad Ali, who hardly ever threw a body blow. God knows how he got so good. But anyway, so fox, mouse. So I think we got that energy, right? Okay, Ganesha says, well, that makes sense because the mouse and the elephant are friends. So that's a good meaning also. So that could be like what to say, like assisting with obstacles, right? Yeah, I'm a Libra son, but anyway, they're the Scorpios are very deep people. I generally like Scorpios. So anyway, that's what we have. So the new moon we're going to do with Heather on Monday evening. I know it's Memorial Day, but Heather and I are going to do transmissions for you to align more with these energies of this new moon, to help you along your way. If you want to dive deeper into what we do on the Medium channel, check out Spirit Mind Family. That's our inner core group. And we do frequency channeling there also. So we go a little bit deeper into that. So we do frequency work to help with your ascension and to help you to be safe and more powerful through the master teacher's channeling. And you do a lot of great stuff there. And Sunday at 11 a.m. is tarot time. Monday is going to be channeling. Wednesday, we have Josh of Mr. Floyd's Universe, so you can check out his channel. He's going to be, we're bringing guest interviews back, so he's going to be the first one. I think this will be your third or fourth time on the channel. So that's going to be Wednesday night. What else is going on? Well, Thursday, I've got, I might switch to my Thursday and Friday. And anyway, Thursday or Friday is going to be the all-important June psychic forecast. All righty then. Thank you, everybody. I'm looking forward to it too, Josh. So that's what we have for you. Again, if you missed the beginning, you know how to catch that. And if you want to keep up to date on some of the seismic activity that I'm picking up on, I did a video this morning. Well, I filmed it yesterday and released it at 12:12. And then I did one last week or earlier in the week about the New Madrid Fall, which is the Mississippi. Think of Baba Vanga's prophecy and others. I think Edgar Cayce had something similar about that. The continent actually dividing into two. I don't know if it's going to be that extreme, but areas along the Mississippi. I know several of you are from the St. Louis area, Arkansas, but an earthquake there is going to affect the whole country because that's goods and services have to cross the Mississippi. So send lots of loving energy into the earth, and even if there is an earthquake, we may be able to soften it. And also, anyway, I've got details on the channel if you want to look into that. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. We've been an hour today. All right. I thought this was going to be quicker. Have a great weekend, everybody. Happy Memorial Day. And breadbasket of the country. Yep. So very good. So let's have fun, raise the vibrations, and we're all going to be okay. The earth is just resetting because higher frequencies are affecting the planet, affecting the conscious fields. It's bringing all this ugliness out to the surface, which sucks because I know people suffer and it upsets people, but it's got to do that. Otherwise, it's just going to sit and fester for the rest of eternity. We cannot have that. So this is the time to release all that stuff so that we can learn, grow from it, and then come into our golden age of enlightenment, which is the route that we're on. So love you, and we will see you next time.